Nation, welcome to the Green Bay Blizzard Coaches Show. I'm Joey Bonadonna. That's head coach Corey Roberson. Coach, how you doing this week?
I'm doing well. We got a game, baby.
All right, so it's kind of an unfortunate situation. Unfortunately, Louisville Extreme no longer in the league. That was the opponent you were supposed to have last week. At some point last week, the game was postponed. You're kind of starting a game plan for Louisville, but then all of a sudden, just like, all right, we don't have a game. How did you handle last week? And was it kind of like a bye week? Did you keep practicing, or what was the protocol?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact day that the IFL came out and said the game was postponed or whatnot. But business as usual, right? You know what I mean? We continued to practice, and the guys were the ultimate professionals. They showed up and they put work in to get better. We also understand how it was the last time we had a bye week, the way we came out in that game against Arizona. So we didn't want to repeat that. So they still got together. We had a players-only practice a few days last week, and we kind of gave them instructions of what we were looking for, and they just ran it. The feedback that we got from the captains were it was a great practice. One of the better practices that we had during my tenure here when we had players-only practice. So I give all the credit to the players for stepping up and being professionals and continue to put the work in during that time.
Absolutely. So obviously preparing for Bismarck ahead, but we'll talk about that later in the show. Any just first thoughts as we go into this week against Bismarck? Obviously a big game against the team twice.
We got to win. There's nothing else around it. We got to win. Bismarck is a good team. They playing pretty well compared to previous seasons, and so we can't look at them as that's the same old Bismarck, because they done beat us twice. Regardless of how they won last second, so a couple of plays here and there, they beat us, right? So there's no looking past Bismarck anymore. One of the gentlemen, actually the owner here, he called it the revenge game. Troy did here at TNT. So, revenge, however you want to look at it. I let the fans decide what that is. It's a must-win. It's another game that's in our way that we got to get through.
Absolutely. So we'll have a special guest come on. We'll have owner Kathy Trenkler come on to give us some information about what's going on in the league right now. So, Kathy, how's it going?
It's going great.
All right. So, obviously, a big news in the IFL. Louisville obviously no longer in the league. Kind of just take us through how that went through from a league perspective.
So it was an unfortunate turn of events, no question. It's not something that we set out to do. Unfortunately, it was a business decision, and in the best interest of our league moving forward to not have them finish the season. There were financial struggles, and that was why our game was originally postponed. We had hoped that we would have an owner step up. We even entertained the league doing some sort of funding to keep them going through the end of the year. But now, as we all know, it came to, we made the decision as a group to terminate the membership. And really, it's an unfortunate turn of events, and it's one where their structure was sound, but when you have basically the money of an organization leave, it's hard to continue when you have low crowds, not a lot of funds coming in, and COVID had a lot to do with it, unfortunately.
So obviously the IFL, it's in my opinion, from a fan's perspective, I would say this has probably been the most competitive that the IFL has been in a really long time. A lot of really competitive teams. So there's obviously a lot of positives that come out of this year with the IFL, but this unfortunately wasn't the way the league probably expected to go.
No. And the unfortunate part of it is, yes, there was a lot of parity in the league, and Louisville did have a competitive team. They didn't have any wins, but there were some close games and competitive games. So you're right. It's been the most competitive we've seen since we became owners. But again, now we have 11 teams, so that means for the rest of the season, someone has to have a bye each week. And when you take away one of our teams, now you have home games that can't get played. We do not have that situation, so instead we're going to have another bye where we were going to go to Louisville. So for us, instead of playing 16 games, we're going to play 14 games. For other teams, though, that played them multiple times, that's multiple home games. That's their revenue that comes in. So it affects the league as a whole. It isn't just about Louisville. It affects us as a whole.
So you talk about the competitiveness and teams losing out on games. We were originally scheduled to play 16, now 14. What does this mean for the playoff picture? How many teams are going to be in? In the grand scheme of things, how is this going to affect playoffs down the stretch?
So the playoffs are going to remain the way we set them up at the start of the season, which is there will be 8 teams that go to the playoffs. The only difference is going to be if there is some sort of tie and the Louisville games affected that turnout, then we have something in mind to do to help determine who's going to the playoffs. So we'll share that later. We're not doing that right now.
All right, cool.
It's not just a coin flip, though.
Gotcha. All right. So the other thing that came out of this week was there was a draft for the Louisville players. Can you take us through kind of how that went for the league?
So we really had 2 options. We either could do a draft, which basically then secures a place for all of those players, or we could have had them become free agents immediately. And we chose to do a draft with the person that had the least number of wins to pick first, and then we just went down the line. So I know Corey, you'll probably talk to Corey about what his decisions were in the draft, and hopefully those players come to Green Bay and we proceed with the rest of the season.
All right, so we'll actually move right on to bring Coach back onto the stage.
All right,
Kathy,
awesome.
Thank you for taking some time to talk to us about everything that's going over.
No problem.
So, Coach, as we mentioned with Kathy, there's a draft that went on. Can you tell us a little bit about the guys that you decided to pick today or during the draft?
Yeah, so we saw some needs that we needed to bring in and address as far as our team, and I think we addressed those needs as far as picking up some young men from the other team. Unfortunate situation, right? We talked about that with Kathy, but we addressed those needs. So now the next step is for us as an organization to get in touch with those young men to see what their plans are. It's not a guarantee that they want to come to Green Bay.
Okay. Yeah.
So we own, as of right now, we have their rights. But we also, we fair here, so we're not going to control what they do. You know what I mean? It's up to them if they want to come to Green Bay, and we'll go through the signing process, just like we do with the other men that we already have here. But it's giving them an opportunity to come here and continue to live out their dreams, and put the film out there that they need to put out there in hopes to make it to the next level.
So yeah, you mentioned it. Obviously, there's 25, 26 guys on that other roster that don't have a home now, but obviously the draft kind of gave them that that option to join another team in the league. And what were your thoughts on going the draft route rather than direct free agency?
I thought it was a good idea by the IFL. The IFL, we talk about parity, right? You spoke a little bit about the competitiveness in the IFL, and you look at our games. We won one score either way, win or lose. We one score away at the end of the game. So I look at that as to keep it fair, keep the opportunity for teams with the least amount of wins, to get some good players, to be able to compete at a better level and boost those wins, right? So that process was good. We set it up. We took advantage of it, right? It was a real draft for us. We had the boardroom, we had the draft, we had the rosters, and we took it serious. Did
your research.
And we got the guys that we wanted.
Absolutely.
They got the guys that we wanted.
So we'll move on. We'll have another special guest come on. Blizzard defensive back Mamadou Mbaye. Mamadou, you want to come on up here and give us a quick interview. All right, so Mamadou is first-year defensive back by way of Rhode Island. How have you enjoyed your time with the team so far in 2021?
Yeah, I could definitely say it's been exciting. That's the word I keep using. Playing indoor, like I say all the time. I never really saw myself playing indoor football, but being here is really exciting. All the guys in the smaller field, it's like you don't got that much time, so you got to be moving. And I remember just the first game, it was just like, yo, this is crazy. Even the introductions, I was like, yo, like I feel like I'm in the NFL or something. Like it was really just so exciting. All the fans, the culture here. So I could definitely say like it's a blessing to be here for sure. So trying to make the best of it.
Absolutely. So you mentioned it, talking about the how different the indoor game is. Obviously, a rookie takes a while to adjust to the indoor game.
Mm-hmm.
How have you taken on that challenge so far?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the big thing is trying not to be so patient because, I try to bait the quarterback like I always say. But indoor, you gotta be at the spot right now. You can't really take your time. And it's exciting because everything's moving fast. Like you got to be looking everywhere. You got to keep your head on the swivel basically. And I definitely enjoy that side of the game.
So you're coming into your 7th game here, playing indoor against the same team you played there in week 1.
Yep.
How do you think you've adjusted, really gained knowledge playing indoor since week 1?
Right. So my first game here, I feel like it was just hard adjusting to the actual speed because practice is not the same speed as the game. So I was like, I don't have time to do this, do that. But now I'm really trying to slow the game down for myself, trust my ability and know that I know where I'm supposed to be. So I got to just, trust my instincts. That's one thing. Sometimes it's like I'll see it happening and I'll kind of just go against my instincts, just so I don't have an error on the play or something. But yeah, I feel like I definitely come a long way. I can slow my game down a little bit. I know where to look, this and that. I know where my keys are. So, I'm just trying to continue to build upon myself and start making some big plays.
Absolutely. So final question I've kind of started to ask everyone, what's your favorite part about Green Bay?
Like I said, the culture. I feel at home almost just being here a couple months. So, just seeing all the fans coming out here, and, it's enjoyable. I feel like I'm loved by everybody. So, I could say the culture for sure.
Absolutely. So, Mamadou and bye, everyone. Thanks for coming on and talking with us.
Yes, sir.
Here we go, baby.
Thank you.
We're talking about the Bismarck game. This is a team you've played twice so far this season. Obviously 0-2 in those games. You've emphasized this is a must-win game. You've got to win this week. Obviously kind of an emotional game when you're playing a team that you've played 2 times this season. You're going to play them 4 times over the span of the season. How do you go into that? Obviously, you've played them twice. You keep looking to build on it.
Yeah. I mean, when I say must win, that's no matter what game we play, right?
Right. Yeah,
it's every game. It don't matter. We go out there to win the game. We don't play to lose, right? That's not something that we do as competitors. So it's no emotions involved. It's a team that beat us twice. We have to win. You know what I mean? Right. It's another opportunity for us to go back out and compete and showcase our talent. So, I take the emotions out. It's another game, another stepping stone for us to, for the young men to get out there and be great. So as far as emotions, rivals, and all that stuff, that's the fan stuff. I try to stay even keel. I try to make sure our players, we're not getting overhyped for a game. We approach every game just like we do each week. It don't matter who we playing. If we practice 3 times a week or we practice 4 times a week, that don't change. You know what I mean? Our plan and everything, we focus on ourselves. So I think that's the biggest thing that I could say is Bismarck is another obstacle for us to go through.
So 1 game at a time mentality.
Absolutely.
So taking it 1 game at a time, sitting at 3-3, obviously, 1 game at a time. Your playoffs are. They're still out there in the future.
Yeah.
But you're taking it one game at a time. You're 0-0 each week, essentially.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're just trying to go 1-0. We got a player that he talks about the 1% better. I'm saying we're just trying to get better each week. You know what I mean? Execute at a high level. I think that's where our focus has been all week. Even last week. How can our offense execute in areas that we haven't been? Red zone. First downs, so those are the things that we focus on and getting better at, those things. It's same with defense. how can we get better on defense? You know, red zone defense need to be better. We understand that our type of defense is bend but don't break. You know, we're going to give up yards. We're going to give up something, right? You know, you can't cover everything. But, you know, having that short-term memory. Mamadou talked about, you know, his excitement and picking up the speed. You know, we got a lot of first-year guys, you know, on our team overall. So it's, you know, one step at a time and getting better each week. Be better than where we were last week.
That's about wrap it up for this episode of the Green Bay Blizzard Coaches Show. Game this week, Bismarck Bucks at the Resch Center, 7:05. Once again, I'm Joey Bonadonna. That's head coach Corey Roberson. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one. Go Blitz.